Hi everyone, and welcome to the Safety Artisan. Today we're going to be talking about environmental hazard analysis, okay? Big topic. And I'm covering this as part of the series on the System Safety Engineering Standard, MIL Standard 882 ECHO. But it doesn't really matter what standard we're using, the topic is still relevant. So environmental hazard analysis, big topic because we're going to cover everything, not just hazards. And at the end of this session, you should be able to enjoy three benefits. First of all, you should know how to approach environmental hazard analysis, both from the point of view of the requirements, the hazard analysis itself, the process, and some national and international variations in the English-speaking world. So you should know how to do the basics, okay, and also to recognize when maybe you need to bring in a specialist. But maybe most important of all, number three, is you should have the confidence to be able to get started. So I'm hoping that this session is really going to help you get started, know what you can do, and then maybe recognize when you need to bring in some specialist help or go and seek some further information. As you'll see, it's a big, complex subject. I can get you started today, but that's all I can do in one session. And in fact, I think that's all anyone can do in one session. Anyway, let's get on with it and see what we've got. Environmental hazard analysis, which is task 210 under MIL Standard 882 ECHO. So let's look at what we're going to talk about today. And you'll see why it's going to be quite a lengthy session. I think it will last an hour because we're going to go through the purpose and task description of environmental hazard analysis as set out in the MIL standard. And it says 7+ slides because there are sort of 7 mainstream slides plus some illustrations in there as well. Then we've got a couple of slides each on documentation, hazardous materials or hazmat, and contracting. And then 8 slides of commentary. And this is the major value add because I'll be talking about applying environmental hazard analysis in a US, UK, and Australian jurisdiction under the different laws, which I have some experience of. So I worked closely with environmental specialists on the Eurofighter Typhoon project. And I've also worked closely with the same specialists on US programs, which had been bought by different countries. And then finally, I've been closely involved in a major environmental or safety and environmental project here in Australia. So I've been exposed and learned the hard way about how things work or don't work here in Australia. So I've got some relevant experience to share with you, as well as some learned material to share with you. And then a little conclusion, because as I say, this will take us an hour, so there's quite a lot of material to cover. So let's get right on with it. So the purpose of environmental hazard analysis, or EHA, as it says, is to support design development decisions, okay? Now, all of the 882 tasks are meant to do this, but actually the wording in task 210 is the clearest of all of them. Really makes it explicit what we're trying to do, which is excellent. So we're going to identify hazards throughout the life cycle, cradle to grave of whatever system it is, and we're going to document and record those hazards and their leading particulars within the hazard tracking system, or hazard log, as we more often call it. We're going to manage the hazards using the same system safety process in section 4 as we use for safety. And this is the process that you will have heard in the other lessons that I've been giving. And very often under 882, safety and environmental hazards are considered together. There are pros and cons with that approach, but nevertheless, a lot of the work is common. We'll see why later on. And in this American standard, it says we are to provide specific data to support National Environmental Policy Act and executive order requirements. So the NEPA is an American piece of legislation, and therefore I've used this color blue to indicate anything that's an American specific requirement. So if you're not operating in America, you'll need to find the equivalent to manage to and to comply with. Moving on. So let's start going through the task description. So really excellent words here, integrating environmental considerations into the systems engineering process. And as I've said repeatedly in this series, we need the systems engineering process to give us context in order to route the safety engineering process to give us traction and to keep us connected to the real world. And it's great that the EHA task recognizes that and explicitly says that's what this is about. So it's good guidance for people who use it. So we're assuming that a contractor is going to follow the EHA process, but whoever it is, they need to start early so that once the systems engineering process is initiated, whoever is doing the analysis will start identifying and managing hazards in the requirements phase ideally, and then using those system safety processes to